the channel. Previously, we did a new oil pan on this, developed a terrible squealing noise, got scared about oil pressure, installed a new timing kit, found a bad timing cog that sounded like a skateboard bearing, and then I had to redesign the PCV system and make a new intake that fit better under this hood. So in this episode, we're going to be designing and fabricating this intake. Let's get into the build. I'm going to go ahead and get this old catch can out of here because it is not going to work very well. There we go. We've got a 2 3/4 inch inlet air filter here. I've got a 2 3/4 inch MAF tube with an air straightener in it. Originally, we had tried to put this pod filter with the MAF tube and the straightener right here. That basically made it so that the MAF sensor was right here, and I'd have to put the breather and PCV right next to it. I don't want them spitting oil all over the MAF sensor. There really is no room in here. That right there is about the closest that's going to come to fitting. So what we're working on now, guys, is this. This is all the same 2.75, which is actually a little bit difficult to get a hold of. It's easy to get on the internet, but if you want 275 locally, you're kind of out of luck. The plan now is to go out and get a piece of 2 3/4 exhaust. I'm gonna get a straight piece, put it in here, a straight piece and put it in here. And we do need a couple of couplers, so that might get a little tricky. After about 2 hours of going to every parts store, I was able to find this stuff. Nobody has 2 3/4 exhaust pipe. Basically, you can get 2 inch, 2 1/4, 2 1/2, and 3. Nobody has 2.75. I went to Napa, they let me in the back, and I took my caliper back there, and I just measured everything they had in the building. This was one of 2 pipes that they had. The main thing I need really is just like from here to about there. That'll connect my one piece. And then I need one other little straight piece. I'll probably take this to there. And the hood will close like that. That actually clears better than the air filter did when it was here. So this pipe has no clearance issues. It is super close to that supercharger though. Super close. The first cut on the coupler here, you can see the cut that they gave it to me with is jagged. I've got a piece of electrical tape on there, and I'm going to very carefully follow that around and get the straightest edge I can. Then I'm going to mark out my first coupler. I need to cut 3 of them. I need one for here to the elbow, one from the elbow to the straight piece, and one from the straight piece to this elbow. All right, Now we've got a nice straight cut there to start with. And the last one I got to start on the edge here, and I just had to straighten it. On this, I'm actually going to have to pierce through it in the middle and then follow that line. And if I walk it and make the line crooked, then I just wasted some of a $30 hose. Concentration, lots of it. So there's our first coupler. Let's get our first coupler on here. Now we've got our piece right here. Using another fresh blade. Six inches. All right, next to take this over to the grinder, and I'm just going to use the wire wheel to get all this sticker off of there. Whew, we're getting there. I still got the grinder going, but you can see there's a bunch of sticky crap all over it. Got a dollop of something right here and a dollop of something right there. A little squirt of lotion that I put up here in the suspected area of contact. So we're gonna cut this piece out a little bit bigger, and then up here, since we were hitting here, if we go lower, we're just gonna hit further over. So we're gonna take out this whole piece right here. I'm gonna get the motor covered up with plastic. I'm gonna break out the angle grinder, and we're gonna go to town on this area here. Once the intake fits and the hood closes, I am going to get the grommets like this figured out. We're gonna change everything that's coming from the supercharger inlet for PCV and breather. We're gonna move them over to the intake pipe wherever they fit best. All right, guys, so I'm gonna get this covered up with some plastic. Don't want metal shavings getting everywhere in my engine bay, especially while we've got some open intake ports. This cutting disc right here has seen some better days. You can see the edge is all like fiber exposed, but it does still have a little bit left, and I don't have much to cut. So we'll see if I can get through it with this. That was the majority of it. Now we've just got this smaller piece down here to deal with. All right, well, let's see if she closes. It is super close now. It's still hitting, but it's not as bad. see it now. Our trouble spot now. At first, I didn't notice it because there's nothing here. That's all good. I don't see anything there. And then I'm looking at this. Look at that squish right there. Guess what that lines up with? Right there on the hood sticker. The problem with that is that I can't cut any of that away. That's like actual hood. This stuff I can cut away. Anything that gets down to this lower level, if I touch that, it affects the way the car looks. I just pushed this pipe down, loosened it here, and I got about a 1/2 inch here. I've also rotated the clamps here. So I now may have just a little bit more room here, possibly. I can only go so far though, because I'm on the fan. Next step, I've got this Spectra kit here. I've used this in the past. It's not the greatest kit. The first time I used mine, the whole saw on it literally just broke apart, but the fittings in it all work, as long as you don't need it to hold boost. For things like PCV and breather that are before the throttle plate, totally fine. So we're gonna open this up, figure out which 2 adapters we need so I know what size to drill these 2 holes down here. In the kit, I've got these 2 hole saws here with the centering drill bit, 3 big grommets, and 3 of the smaller grommets. Now I've got to figure out which of these I need for those. Let's go check that out right now. So these right here are going to be my 2 fittings. One of them is going to go in, the front one's going to be this. The rear one is going to be this. That means I have to drill 1 of each of these type of holes. I'm going to go ahead and pull this pipe out so that we can put the holes in it for the intake. Worst hole saw ever. Spectra, you suck. all finished drilling up the holes in this, getting the grommets in there. I think that looks decent. I mean, I wish it wasn't a steel exhaust pipe. The way this goes on, the smaller one is in the front. Goes in until it hits the other pipe. The intake out. The thing on until it hits the pipe. Down where she goes. I've got all my clamps tight except for these two here, because this was a good position for everything to fit before I took this out and drilled the two holes. I'm gonna go to Home Depot, see if I can find two of these with whatever this size barb on it is. And then I can put the catch can in. I'm back from the hardware store. I have got these, which are exactly what I needed as far as the size difference. So these will work. All right, so we've got our catch can here. All I've got to do now is get a piece of this to the PCV valve that's down in here, over to this port on the catch can, and then this port on the catch can needs to go right here.
Just finished my drinks, the room is spinning. Oh girl, you look so good, I just wish I could. Those Long Island iced teas, they got me ready and willing. Push it up on me, the way you move, I know you feel it. Half that ass in out in jeans, looking like a girl in a magazine. Smooth girl, sexy, silken king, look good enough to make me scream. I wanna cry with a fresh girl. To the next girl, from the right to the left, moving on to the next, till there ain't none left. I wanna cry with a fresh girl, so give me heart to the next girl. She got a body like who that is, twerking that thing and look at her lips. I slide to the left, you move to the right. Oh babe, I'm out of sight.
All right guys, as you can see, we've got our finished off intake here. We've got our PCV comes into this catch can right here. It goes into the intake right there. We've got the valve cover breathers that tie into catch can right here. They're going into the inlet as well. There's another crossover there just to even out the valve cover pressures. We've got our new blue filter that used to be right there. Now with this crazy piece of pipe, we've got a bunch of trimming done under the hood to fit things. We do still get the tiniest little bit of squish right here, but it's the silicone coupler literally on the emission sticker of the hood. I don't want to have this plastic line, and I don't need a gauge under the hood. I just needed a gauge before I was comfortable running this to find the squealing noise. I've got a digital right here, a digital oil pressure gauge. It's not a great brand, but I mean, it's not like I need this thing for like tuning. It's just like an oil pressure gauge. Where the gauge gets hooked up, we're just gonna screw this in instead, and then I just have to run 3 wires in the cabin. That will be a much simpler fix, and I don't have to worry about oil leaks in the car.
gonna wait a half an hour, come back, reconnect that battery and do the idle relearn properly. The procedure for that is to disconnect the battery for half an hour, then reconnect it, put the key in the ignition, turn it to the on position for 15 seconds. Then you can start it from the on position, run it for 10 minutes. Don't touch anything. Make sure before you start this that all of your accessories are off, the radio's off, the lights are off, wipers, everything. No loads at all. Don't touch the pedal for 10 minutes. Then come back, turn it off, make sure the key is off for at least 20 seconds. Then you can start it back up without touching the pedal again. Let it idle for another 5 minutes. After that, you can shut it off, wait at least 20 seconds, and then you're done. That's the idle relearn. Thanks for watching, guys. Please, as always, like, comment, and subscribe. And if you didn't like the video, leave a dislike and let me know why so I can make better content in the future. I'll see you next time.